Good evening. What do I want to say first? I'm going to be talking to you tonight about marriage, and it doesn't make me an authority on marriage, just I've got some experience. This March, I'm glad you asked, it'll be 39 years, you know. Keep your seats. Thank you. But before I get into that, I was going to tell you about this. I don't know if you heard this before, but if you have, just make like you haven't. There was a young couple, and they were on their way to Florida. They were going to Orlando, and they came across this town called Kissimmee. And he said, "Oh, we're almost at Kissimmee." And she said, "I think you pronounce that Kissimmee." He said, "What?" "No, I think it's Kissimmee." She said, "Well, look how it's spelled. It's spelled Kissimmee." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. The next fast food place, we'll just pull in here and ask them." So they went on down the road, and they pulled off and went into that fast food place, and the girl came up to the counter. He said, we're new around here. We've never been in this area before. I was wondering if you could settle something for us. Can you tell us how to pronounce the name of this place and say it slowly so we can understand it and settle this disagreement we have?" So she leaned over and she said, "Dairy Queen." Actually, it was Kissimmee. But the number one reason for divorce is spousal abuse. The average marriage in the U.S. is 8.2 years. Don't pay any attention to this, Miley. Don't pay attention to this, 8.2 years. In Canada, marriage lasts 14 years. So I thought, well, if you're getting ready to get a divorce, you might want to move to Canada and get a couple more years in. I don't know why that is. But you take someone like Dink. Oh, she heard that. She had been married to Ray West for 62 years, right? 60, how many? 72. Wow, I'll cross that off. 72 years. And when somebody asked her, what's your secret for being married so long? She said, well, he went fishing and I went shopping. There's a lot of truth to trust in marriage. If your husband is going to go bowling, make sure he takes his bowling ball and shoes. And, if your wife's going out with the girls, make sure it's the girls, You got to learn to trust each other. You got to learn to have faith, It's very important in marriage. What's the Bible say about marriage? Ephesians 5, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also the wives should submit to their husbands in everything." I forgot to mention this, but I don't know if you heard it before or not, but when Ray West, it was my father-in-law, and Virgil, they were going fishing, and for some reason they put their teeth in the glove compartment. I don't know why they did that. So on the way back, they opened that glove compartment. They got their teeth out. They thought it was theirs. They put it in their mouth, and they said, "Mine don't fit. Mine don't either." They got anyway. Nothing. Can't believe it. Titus 2:4. Love in marriage can be deeper and more selfless than any other relationship. It is the type of love that Jesus expects of his followers, and it is the virtue that couples need the most. 1 Corinthians 7, but since there is so much immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. 1 Timothy, for if a man knows not how to rule his own household, how shall he take care of the church of God? Well, with my wife and I, we try to work things out together, and we discuss what we're trying to accomplish and come up with a mutual agreement. And so far, it seems to work out. I think every family has its problems, and you probably heard this before, but you should never go to bed at night that you have an argument that hasn't been solved. You know, we always want to be the last one to say something. Sometimes you say the wrong thing, and sometimes your tongue overrides your brain, and you'll say something that you didn't mean, but it's too late. Then you get up in the morning and you're not talking to each other. Nobody wants to give in. So it's not a good idea to take that to bed without solving your problems. Now, when I was attending church in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, there was a elder and his wife. And I remember talking to them. We were talking about marriage. And he said, we have never had a harsh word. We have never had a disagreement. We have never had an argument in our lives, ever. He was an elder. And I felt like calling Guinness World Book of Records. I've never heard of such a thing, but he was an elder, and I really believed him. He was just one in a million. More power to him. I'm glad that things worked out, you know. Well, we must learn to love each other, lean upon each other, because we don't want to end up like that 8.2%. And I feel that being a Christian, we can beat the odds. You know, there's always problems in the church. There's always those that, you know, will have a divorce, but it's better if you're a Christian. You can usually work things out. What does the Bible say about divorce? Matthew 5:31, whoever divorces his wife, except on the grounds of sexual immorality, they make her an adulteress, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Malachi 2:13, for I hate divorce, says the Lord, the God of Israel. So take heed to yourselves and do not be faithless. That's about all I have tonight. And if the church can help you in any way, let us stand and sing.